Mangalam sadhu veshaya shishya chitta vilasine vidita kila vedyaya moksha vigna vighatine saumya kashi nivasaya deshikaya viragine chaitanyananda rupaya jivan muktaya mangalam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Freedom, Freedom, Freedom. Om Namah Shivaya. Today we are starting to study from the Chandogya Upanishad. Yesterday we have heard a little bit about the Vedas and about the Upanishads. Why we are studying the Vedas, what is the message of the Vedas, what is the importance of the Upanishads within the Vedas. And today we are going to start studying from the Chandogya Upanishad itself. The Chandogya Upanishad is one of the most important Upanishads. It is, in volume, it is the second biggest Upanishad after the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It consists of 8 chapters, and it is coming from the Sama Veda. In the Sama Veda, there is a section which is called the Chandogya Brahmana, which has 10 chapters, and the last 8 of them are the Chandogya Upanishad. Okay? I just give you some technicality, some terms, just to put the formality behind, and then we will start studying. So, these 8 chapters are dealing basically with the knowledge of Brahman, with the knowledge of ultimate truth, ultimate reality. And the first 5 chapters are dealing particularly with ritualism, with different meditations and rituals that are being performed for the sake of purifying the mind. We are going to discuss it, and we are going to see it later on in more emphasis, that the spiritual liberation, what is called moksha, is being revealed not through action, not through any sadhana, but it is coming in a different way. But in order to be fit, in order to prepare ourselves and be ready to receive this knowledge, we first have to undergo a very extensive process of mind purification. And for that, we practice asanas and pranayama, we practice meditations, etc. And here in the first 5 chapters, there is discussion of different ways to practice basically rituals and meditations in order to purify the mind and prepare ourselves. The last 3 chapters are dealing directly with the nature of ultimate reality and the ways for liberation. I choose to deal with chapter 7. We will, during this week, we will discuss chapter 7 of the Chandogya Upanishad, which is a discussion between 2 very interesting characters, 2 interesting figures from the Vedas. One of them is called Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara is the teacher, and the other one is Narada. Narada is the student in this case. Sanat Kumara, as I mentioned last night, is one of the 4 first sons of Lord Brahma, and he is a very, all the 4 are very celebrated sages. From the moment they came out of Brahma, they came from the mind of Brahma, basically. Immediately they renounced the world. They renounced the world, and they dedicated themselves to the path of Nivriti. I'm going to discuss it shortly. And later on, Lord Brahma brought more sons, and they were responsible for propagating the world, and they took the path which is known as Pravriti. Okay? And one of them is Narada. Okay? Narada was a very learned person, as we are going to see, but himself he did not actually realize the truth at this point of time where this discussion is taking place. Before we get into the discussion, I want to say a few words about these two different paths, the path which is called Nivriti and the path which is called Pravriti. Okay? In the creation of the world, the process of evolution, there is one principle which is guiding evolution, which is guiding the creation of the world, and this is Dharma. Dharma means many things, but particularly we can say, for our purpose, it means righteousness, it means religion, it means right conduct, it means karma also, actions. Actually, the word dharma implies both good karma and bad karma. We find it in the Bhagavad Gita. We know the famous verse, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, that we chant every day in the Arati. Krishna tells Arjuna, you have to renounce all dharmas. And Shankaracharya explained, you have to renounce both good actions and bad actions. So in the process of evolution, the principal guide is Dharma, is that which promotes the world. And that which promotes the world is righteousness, is religion, the right religion, etc. And this is the path which traditionally is carried by householders. It is traditionally carried by householders. They are those who protect society, they maintain society, they support society. This is their duty and this is their sacrifice. It is not an easy, I'm sure I don't have to tell you, to be a good householder in our society. You have to sacrifice everything for the sake of your family. You have to sacrifice everything for the sake of your country, your society, for the sake of the whole world. You have to support, you have to maintain everybody, and this is all the responsibility of the householders. And this is very important part of life. At the same time, there is another part of life which is a little less known, and it is practiced by relatively fewer people, which is called Nivriti. That path of Dharma, the path of becoming, the path of creation, is called Pravriti in Sanskrit. It's just that which promotes creation. But there is another path which is the reverse, which is the opposite. And this is the path of going back to the source. Returning back to the source is the path which is called Nivriti. And this is the path which is traditionally taken by sannyasins, by renunciates, by monks. And the idea is that not they are ignoring society. The idea is not that they are against society or against creation. It is a complementary process. It is like the process of breathing. We say it is very good to inhale, to take a big inhalation. But unless we exhale afterwards, we cannot inhale again, right? There is a process of completeness that involves becoming and coming back to the source. It is like the waves of the oceans coming to the shore, coming and returning. In the same way, creation manifests and going back to its source. And we also, as souls in this world, as jivas, we are coming into this world, but then we have the duty to go back into the source. So in the Vedic tradition, this was primarily, not only, but primarily the duty of the sannyasis, the duty of the monks, the return back to the source. And the source is Brahman, the source is the absolute reality, is the truth. And this return is not done through action, is not done through effort. it is done through knowledge. It is done through the removal of ignorance. And this is some very subtle distinction that we have to understand. The path of becoming is the path of action. The path of becoming, Pravriti Marga, is the path which is supported by action. We are evolving through good actions, through actions that elevate us and purify the mind and make us better people, etc. But the path of Nivriti, the path of going back to the source, has nothing to do with action. It is not about action, it is about realization. And therefore, it is not a path in the sense of going, because going implies action, is it not? It is called a path just because the other one is called a path also. It is not a process, it is something immediate and direct, and we will discuss it later on also. Okay? So now, in these 3 chapters of the Chandogya, we are discussing the Nivriti Marga, the Nivriti path. The path of returning to the source is the topic of these 3 chapters. And now we are studying chapter 7. We will see how Sanat Kumara, the teacher, is teaching Narada this knowledge. Okay? Unfortunately, I didn't have the transliteration of all this chapter. It will be also long for everybody to chant it together. So I will be chanting it in Sanskrit and explaining. You don't have to chant also. Okay. Om Adhihi Bhagava iti Hopasasada Sanat Kumaram Naradaha Tam Hovacha Yadveta te namopasida Tataha ta urdvam vakshyamiti Sahovacha. The chapter starts with a tiny story, a little story. Okay? So, Adhihi Bhagava iti Hopasasada Sanat Kumaram Naradaha. So Narada, Hopasasada, he went to Sanat Kumara and he said, Adhihi Bhagava, please teach me, sir. Bhagava means, Bhagavan means sir. It means also Ishvara, God, but literally it means sir. Oh sir, please teach me. Tam hovacha yadveta te nama upasida. Please tell me all what you already know. Tataha ta urdvam vakshyamiti, and I will take you further from there. So Sanat Kumara says, okay, you just tell me what you have learned already, and I will take you from there. Sarvacha, then he said, Rigvedam Bhagavo Adhyemi Yajurvedam Samavedam Atharvanam Chaturtham Ityasa Puranam Panchamam Vedanam Vedam Pitriyam Rashim Daivam Nidhim Vako Vakyam Ekayanam Deva Vidyam Brahma Vidyam Bhuta Vidyam Kshatra Vidyam Nakshatra Vidyam Sarpadeva Jana Vidyame Tad Bhagavo Adhyemi. Now Narada is answering, this is all I know. What I know? Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvanam, Chaturtham. I know the 4 Vedas. Which are the 4 Vedas? Yesterday we mentioned Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvana Veda. These are the 4 Vedas. But he says also there is a 5th Veda. This is very interesting that he mentions here. Itihasa Puranam Panchamam. And the Itihasas and the Puranas, which are like the 5th Veda. What are the Itihasas? We know the Mahabharata story where the Bhagavad Gita appears. Some of you may know these scriptures. So the Mahabharata is Itihasa. And another Itihasa which is famous is the Ramayana. And then there are 2 more or less known Itihasas. Altogether there are 4 books which are coming under Itihasa. And then the Puranas. Puranas are also books of stories, and we have 18 major Upanishads and 18 minor Upanishads, 18 major Puranas and 18 minor Puranas. They are all traditionally attributed to Vyasa. Okay, so he calls them, these are the fifth Veda. Okay, so now we have all the five Vedas. Then what else Narada knows? Vedanam, Vedam, this is grammar. Okay, Vyakarana, this is the Sanskrit word for grammar. So Narada knew very well grammar, Sanskrit grammar. Pitriyam means the science of worship of the forefathers. In the Vedic tradition, we give homage and respect to the forefathers. And there is a science connected to it, how to do the worship, how to do the honoring, etc. This he has learned very well. Rashi means mathematics. There is a very sophisticated Vedic mathematics. Actually, there was in one of the Yoga Life issues, there was a very interesting article about somebody who is studying the Vedic mathematics, and he is trying to show its usefulness even today. This is a very old system of mathematics. So Narada also knew mathematics. Then the next one is Daivam. Daivam is the science of meteors and other natural phenomena. It is just something like, it is also a knowledge of omens. In the Vedic tradition, along with astrology, the astrologers also study omens. They can see certain things that appear at a certain time and a certain point, and it tells something. We see Arjuna in the beginning of chapter 2 in the Bhagavad Gita, Nimittani chapashyami. He tells Krishna, I see very bad omens. Something bad is going to happen. So this knowledge was also possessed by Narada. And then Nidhim. Nidhim is the science of underground mining, how to dig tunnels and all the geology and all this stuff. He knew that too. And then Vako Vakyam. Vako Vakyam means logic. And Ekayanam. Ekayanam means moral science, the science of moral. We find different books, particularly the Smritis. There is a type of literature which is called the Smritis, in which we find teachings about moral, and Narada was a master of it. Then Deva Vidyam. Deva Vidya means astrology. And Brahma Vidyam. Brahma Vidya means the knowledge of the Upanishads, the knowledge of the truth. But you will see, he tells Sanat Kumaram, but I know it, but I know only the words, I don't know the meaning. Bhuta Vidyam, the Bhutas are, Panchamahabhutas are the five elements. So knowledge of the geology, this is Bhuta Vidya. And then Kshatriya Vidya is the science of war, how to fight. That also a science, and Narada knew it also. Nakshatra Vidyam, this is Nakshatra. Nakshatras are the bodily, heavenly bodies, which is the astronomy. And then Sarpa Vidyam. Sarpa Vidyam is the snake charming. Narada knew also snake charming. And then Devajana Vidyam. These are the fine arts. He knew also about arts. And then that's the last one, and he says, Etad Bhagavo Adhyemi. This much I know. Okay? Soham Bhagavo Mantravid Asmi. I will chant the whole mantra and then I will explain. Soham Bhagavo Mantravid Eva Asmi Natmavit Shrutam Hi Eva Me Bhagavadrishebhyaha Tarati Shokamatmavit Iti Soham Bhagava Shochami Tama Bhagavan Shokasya Param Tarayatu iti Tam Hovacha Yadvaikincha etadhyagishta nama eva etad. Now Narada is telling Sanat Kumara, Soham Bhagavo mantravid eva asmi. Oh, sir, all this I told you, I know only the mantras. I know only the words. I don't know the meaning. He says, mantravid. Mantravid means a knower of the mantra. I am a knower of the mantra. Na atmavit. I don't know the self. I don't know the truth. All this knowledge that I mentioned, which in universities will be considered to be a great knowledge, is meaningless. Why? Because I don't know myself. You see, in every type of knowledge, we have three things. In every type of knowledge, we have the knower, we have the known, and we have the knowing. In Sanskrit, it is called Triputi. Triputi means the triad of the knower, the known, and knowing. Suppose you know all the known, but you don't know the knower, this knowledge is meaningless. The knower must be first known, and then all this knowledge become meaningful. They say, if you take many zeros and put them by themselves, they are meaningless. But if you put one in the beginning, all these zeros become very meaningful. Right? In the same way, if you don't know the one, the self, all the other zeros doesn't make any sense. Okay? Therefore he says, Shrutam hi eva me bhagavad drishyebhyaha tarati shoka atmavit iti. He says, I have learned, I have heard, Shrutam, I have heard from such dignities as you are, the sentence, Tarati Shokam Atmavit. The knower of Atma crosses beyond all sorrow. Tarati Shoka Atmavit. Atmavit means a knower of Brahman. Tarati means crosses over. Shokam. Shoka means suffering, pain. One who knows the true nature of the self crosses beyond all suffering. The knowledge of the self is equal to the end of all suffering. This is very remarkable. And Narada wants to, he says, Soham Bhagava Shochami, but sir, I'm still suffering. So what is the use of all this knowledge I have? It is useless since I'm still suffering. I heard from people like you that one who knows the self crosses beyond all suffering. I want to cross beyond all suffering, therefore please teach me. Tama Bhagavan Shokasya Param Tarayatu iti. Please, sir, take me beyond that sorrow. I'm tormented. Now, we may ask, why Narada is so suffering? What is, you see, if you a little bit know about Narada, he is kind of having a good time. He is constantly traveling between the different worlds. He is a very good musician. He has this instrument, string instrument. I forgot the Sanskrit name. He's playing it and chanting the name of Lord Vishnu, and he is a very great devotee of Lord Vishnu. And when he chants, he's just moving between the different realms, the different worlds, and he go wherever he wants, and nothing to complain about, right? But if we study the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, we will see that Sarvam Dukam Vivekinaha, says Patanjali Maharshi, for a person of Viveka, for a person of discrimination, everything is suffering. And this is something that we need to understand. For a person of ignorance finds little joys in petty things. And he thinks, oh, I'm so happy. But a person of discrimination realizes all these petty joys, petty pleasures, they are nothing. They are a little bit of honey with a lot of poison. Therefore, they are not interested in it. And many times young people find it very difficult to understand this. What is wrong? This is a wonderful world. This is a so beautiful world. Yes, it is a wonderful world. There's no doubt. But for the man of discrimination, he realizes the falsity of the appearances. He realizes the illusion. And illusion, that which comes out of ignorance, can never be real happiness. For a man of realization, a man who realizes the true nature of the self, he is also enjoying the world. He is not ignoring the world. But his happiness is not the least, depends on the world. As a matter of fact, because his happiness is completely independent of the world, he can really appreciate and enjoy the world. You know, I talked once to someone who was in dinner with the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama is a person of light, of knowledge, no doubt about it. And he says he eats like this. He's so, when he is eating, he's just immersed in the food. He's so happy, you can see. And you may ask why he is in enlightenment. Why does he need to? No, a person who is based in the truth can really appreciate. There is no any attachment, no any expectation, no any baggage associated with this enjoyment. This enjoyment is full. But when we come with all our attachments, when we come with all of our preconceived notions, with all of our desires, all our joys are mixed with fear to lose what we gain. All our joys are mixed with other desires that are pending and disturbing us. All our joys are mixed with different types of suffering, and therefore, for the man of discrimination, this is no joy. And therefore, Narada, who is definitely Vivekinaha, a person of discrimination, this is just suffering. Tamovacha, now Sanat Kumaram answer. Yadvai kincha etad adya gishta nama eva etad. Yes, you are right. Whatever you know so far, nama eva etad. It is only name. You don't know the essence. Nama eva etad means you know only the name. You don't know anything about the essence of things. Mantra number 4. 3 and 4. No, this is, mantra number 4. Namavari Gvedoya Jurveda Samaveda Tarvanaschaturtha Ityasa Purana Panchamo Vedanam Veda Pitriyo Rashir Daivo Nidhirvako Vakya Ekayanam Deva Vidya Brahma Vidya Bhuta Vidya Kshatra Vidya Nakshatra Vidya Sarpa Deva Jana Vidya Nama Eva Etad Nama Upasveti. Now Sanat Kumar is starting to teach Narada, and he is doing it very gradually. He is not immediately giving him the highest truth. There are different styles of teachings, and this is one of them. Another style, we'll come back to it, another style is the style of Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, we see a very interesting style of teachings, and you know, Lord Krishna, we chant in the daily chanting, Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Krishna is the world teacher, is the guru of the world. So his method of teaching is very interesting. When he teaches Arjuna in the 2nd chapter, and probably because of Arjuna's crisis, because of Arjuna's difficult situation, Lord Krishna, in the very offset in the very beginning gives Arjuna the highest teaching. Immediately in verse 11 and on of the second chapter, Lord Krishna is giving Arjuna the ultimate truth, the highest truth. And then, after Arjuna hears it once, and some seeds are being planted in his mind, then he's not, of course, able to appreciate and understand it. Lord Krishna is going from beginning and starting. And we see it also in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, that the first pada is for the Uttama Adhikari. The first chapter of the Yoga Sutras is meant for the highest type of student. It is not meant for middle or lower class of student. And then the second pada is meant for the Madhyama, for the middle type of student. And only towards the end of the second pada, we find the Ashtanga Yoga, which is meant for the lowest type of students. Lowest is still very high, right? Don't think that lowest is something low. We work very, very hard to somehow get into the lowest level. So, but still, we see there are different styles of teaching. Here, Sanat Kumaran is taking a different approach. He's starting from the very basic, and which appears to be very off the truth, and slowly is building it up. Another famous teacher who is teaching in this same style is Prajapati. We have a very famous story in the Upanishads that in the advanced teacher training course we study. Virochana, who is the king of the demons, and Indra, who is the king of the gods, are going to visit Prajapati. Why? For the same reason that Narada is coming here. They have heard that a person who realizes the truth attains all his desires. All his desires are fulfilled, so then he becomes happy. Now, as you may know, the gods and the demons have lots of desires, probably maybe more than we have. Always in the stories we see they are full of desire. So when they hear that there is a way to fulfill every desire you want, they are very happy. They go and they visit Prajapati, their guru, the teacher, and they want to learn from him the truth. But first, before he is teaching them anything, they have to serve him for 32 years, I believe. No, 32 years? I don't remember exactly the number. They have to serve him for 32 years without even asking him one question. They are just serving him. After 32 years, he is calling them and he says, you remember when you came here, you had a question. You want to ask? So they tell him, yes, we have heard that this is the case. Can you please teach us? What is that? When you know it, all your desires will be fulfilled. What is that self? We have heard that one who knows the self, all his desires will be fulfilled. Tell us, what is this self? So he tells them, that which you see in the mirror, that is the self. Go, watch in the mirror, and tell me what you see. So they go, they look in the mirror, and what they see? They see themselves. And then they come to him, and he says, so, what did you find out? They say, yes, we saw ourselves in the mirror. That body, this is who we are. And they are very happy, and he says, yes, you have found the self, go back home. And they go. Virochana is going back to the demons, and he tells them, listen, I figure out the truth. This is the way to be happy. We have to worship the body. We have to extol the body. We have to keep it fit. This will make us happy, and this will keep us, will fulfill all our desires. Also, Indra is going back to the gods, but somewhere on the way he is thinking to himself, come on, It doesn't make any sense. This body is going to die. And this body is subject to old age and all suffering. So how can that be that self which is fulfilling all desires? So before reaching home, he is going back to Prajapati, and he is telling him, is there something higher than this body? So he says, yes, there is actually something higher. That which you see during your dream, that which you see yourself as during the dream, this is the self. So he says, thank you, sir. By the way, before he got permission to ask this question, he had to serve another 32 years. So it is very time consuming. And this way it goes on and on and on. Every time he gets an answer which is a little more subtle, which is a little higher. And ultimately, after 101 years of serving Prajapati, he gets the final answer about the truth, about the self. And then he realized the truth. And this is a very interesting story. We can learn a lot from it. But I told it because here you will see that we are taking the same method. Sanat Kumaram is starting from the very basic and much slower than Prajapati. He is taking many, many small steps until ultimately we are getting to the ultimate answer. So in the beginning it is very gross and it may appear to be even a little strange. So in mantra number 4, we read that the first answer which Sanat Kumaram is giving Narada is Namava, Rigveda, Yajurveda, etc. He is telling him all those things that you have learned, and he is mentioning by name, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Tarvana, Chaturta, Ityasa, Puranam, etc. All these subjects that Narada has learned already, he says they are all names. Therefore, worship name as Brahman. If you worship name as Brahman, you will know Brahman. How? This he says in the next mantra. Sayo nama brahmeti upaste yavat nam nogatam tatrasya yatha kamacharo bhavati yo nama brahmeti upaste asti bhagavo namno bhuya iti namno vava bhuyo asti iti tanme bhagavan bravitu iti prathama khandaha. This is the end of the first khanda, the first part. Yo nama brahmeti upaste, one who worship Brahman as the name. Yavat namno gatam tatra asya yata kama charom bhavati. Wherever a name goes, or as far as name goes, that far that person can go. A person who worships Brahman as the name can go as far as the name can go. Yo nama brahmeti upaste. This is what happens to one who worships Brahman as a name. How far can a name go? Is a name important? Yes. Names are very important. Names are what give meaning to things and to concepts. And without name we don't have language. And without language, we cannot communicate properly. A name is not always associated with sound. Name is the essence. Actually, in philosophy, they say that the word and the meaning of the word have eternal connection. This is at least the idea in Nyaya philosophy, but it is also accepted by other philosophies that there is an eternal connection between the name and the object. It is not random. It is not like this when you say mother in English and the meaning of the word is not separate, is eternal. And it is true that there are many languages, but it is not random. According to this belief, there is a direct connection between the sound, between the name and the meaning. Okay, and therefore, names are very important. They are connected directly to the understanding of all reality, and therefore, he says, one who worships Brahman as name can go as far as the name can go. Okay, it is quite far, but not very far, as we are going to see. You can get something to that. You can reach somewhere. We can get some development to looking after the name or connecting with the name, but you cannot go beyond that. And of course, Narada is not satisfied. He wants to realize the truth, the ultimate truth. Therefore, he says, Asti bhagavo namno bhuya iti. Sir, is there anything which is higher than name? Namno bhava bhuyo asti iti. Definitely there is something which is higher than name. Tan me bhagavan bravitu iti. Please, sir, tell me that. Tell me that which is higher than name. Okay, this is the first part, the first chapter. Now we start in the second chapter. This is a long mantra, so bear with me. Bhagavava namno bhuyasi, Bhagava hrigvedam vijapayati, Yajurvedam samavedam atharvanam chaturtam ityasa puranam panchamam, Vedanam vedam pitriyam rashim daivam nidhim, Vako vakyam ekayanam deva vidyam brahma vidyam bhuta vidyam kshatra vidyam nakshatra vidyam, Sarpadeva jana vidyam divam cha prithivim cha vayum cha kasham cha pascha tejascha, Devascha manushyamscha pashumscha vayamsi cha, Trinavanaspati ashvapadani, Akita patanga pipilikam, Dharmam cha, Satyam cha, Nritam cha, Sadhu cha, Hridayagyam cha, Hridayagyam cha, Yadvaivan nabhavishyan na dharmo, Vyagyapayishyan na satyam na nritam na sadhu, na hridayagyo na haridayagyo, Vageva etad sarvam vigyapayati vachamupasbeti. This is a long mantra, but I'm sure you already catch the first part. He is again repeating all those different fields that were discussed by Narada as subjects he has learned. So he says, Vagvava namno bhuya asi. There is something which is higher than name, and this is speech. Through speech, we pronounce the name. And therefore, speech precedes the name, therefore it is superior to the name. Speech can go further than the name. Speech is the essence or the basis from which name can come, can be pronounced, and therefore it is superior. Therefore, he says, through speech, you can know all these things. What you can know? Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, Tarvanam, Chaturtam. You can know all these Vedas in the fifth Vedas, and the geology and mathematics and all these subjects that Narada you mentioned before. You know them through speech. Even though they have names, without speech, they are not pronounced. Okay? Unless there is speech to pronounce it, they have the name itself is not important, right? And he also giving some many other things. After mentioning all the subject that Narada brought up, he is also giving some others. Prithivim cha, Vayum cha, Kasham cha, Pascha, Tejas cha. These are the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. They are all known through speech. If I tell you about the 5 elements, this is through speech that you get the knowledge of them. Okay? Even though you experience them directly, through direct perception, the knowledge which is connected to them is coming through speech. Then he says, Devascha Manushyam cha, Pashum cha Vayamsi cha, Trinavanaspati, Ashva Padani, Akita Patanga Pipilikam. These are all different beings. So Devas are the gods, and Manushya are the human beings. Pashum are cattle or beasts, animals. Vayamsi are the birds. And Trina Vanaspati, these are creepers and trees. And then Shwapadani are animals of prey, meat-eater animals. And Akita Patanga Pipilikam, these are basically worms and fleas and ants. These are insects. And then Dharmam cha, Dharmam cha. Dharma means righteousness. Adharma means that which oppose to that which oppose to righteousness. So these are also known only through speech. Satyam cha, Andritam cha. Satya means truth, and Andrita means false. So truth and false are also known through speech. Sadhu cha, Sadhu cha. Sadhu means goodness, and asadhu means the opposite. So that also is known through speech. Hridayagyam cha, ahridayagyam cha, that which is pleasant, that which is unpleasant. Yad vaivan na abhavishyan. When these things are absent, when speech is absent, then na dharmo, you cannot know dharma and adharma. If there is no speech, you will not know either dharma or adharma. Vyagya payishyan, there will be no vyagya payishyan, means there will be no awareness of them. Unless there is speech, there will be no awareness, so there will be no knowledge of dharma, adharma, etc. And also satyam na ritam, there will be no knowledge of truth and false. Na sadhu, there will be no knowledge of goodness and badness. Na hridayagyo, na ahridayagyo, there will be no knowledge of that which is pleasant and that which is unpleasant. Vag eva etat sarvam, all these are ultimately known through vacham, through speech. Therefore, vacham upasveti, you should worship Brahman as speech. Okay, so now the teacher, Sanat Kumar, is telling his student Narada, instead of worshipping Brahman as the word, as the name, now I'm giving you a higher teaching, worship Brahman as speech. Sayo vacham brahmeti upaste yavat vachogatam tatrasya yata kamacharo bhavati yo vacham brahmeti upaste asti bhagavo vacho bhuya iti vacho vava bhuyo asti iti tanme bhagavan bravitu iti dvitiya khandaha. This is the end of the second khanda, the second part. And he is saying, Sayo vacham brahmeti upaste, one who worship Brahman as speech. Yavat vachogatam tatra asya yata kamacharo bhavati. As far as speech can go, that far that person can reach through the worship of Brahman as speech. When you worship Brahman as speech, you can go as long as speech can go. Yo vacham brahmeti upaste. This is what happens to a person who worships Brahman as speech. But for Narada, this is not enough. He doesn't want any limitations. This is a limitation. You can go only as long, as far as speech can go. It is a limitation, and therefore he again asking Sanat Kumar, Asti Bhagavo Vacho Bhuya Iti. Sir, is there anything which is higher than speech? Vacho vava bhuyo asti iti. Definitely. Vava means certainly. Certainly there is something which is higher than speech. Tanme bhagavan bravitu iti. Please, sir, tell me that. Tell me that which is superior to speech. This we will do tomorrow. Tomorrow you will come to know what is higher. You can think about it and see what you come up with as higher than speech. And now we will conclude with just a couple of minutes of just silence. Please sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritam gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Freedom 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 Om Bolo Shri Sadgurudev Swami Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Sadgurudev Swami Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai Om Namah Shivaya Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you very much.